When people think about winter in Canada, generally two things come to mind: extremely cold temperatures and a lot of snow. And if that's what you're thinking, you're not wrong. But as we've already discovered, things can hit a little bit different here on Vancouver Island, located off the west coast in the Pacific Ocean. Here, it boasts the mildest climate in the entire country, and although it's snowing today, it could easily be raining or have beautiful blue skies with warm winter weather. Here, things are a little bit different, but they're also diverse. Diverse in the way that people choose to enjoy this winter wonderland. Today, I want to introduce you to four of my friends. The first loves going for walks in the forest and doing something called geocaching, which we'll learn a little bit more about. The second two, well, they love heading down to the river and doing something kind of extreme. The fourth loves hiking. In fact, he goes on the same hike every single weekend, but as we'll find out, it's always a unique experience. Welcome to another episode of Vancouver Island Explored, Winter Wonderland. My name is Dan King, and I live on an island in the Pacific Ocean off the west coast of Canada. Over the last few years, I've been showing off this incredible place that I call home to people from all over the world. Last season, it was all about my favorite summer destinations. But this time around, I'm inviting you to join me in exploring the beauty of the winter months here. And I want to introduce you to some of the interesting people that I've met along the way. Welcome to Vancouver Island Explored, Winter Wonderland. With over 32,000 square kilometers and much of it being forest, there is seemingly endless hiking and walking trails covering the island, and Charlene has walked hundreds of these, often on the hunt for hidden treasures called geocaches.
What's really fun about geocaching in the winter is you see the places we've been in a whole different light. Like today we are in tons of snow, or just the fall weather. So yeah, it's just lots of fun to get out and see different places in different seasons.
And when I asked Charlene why geocaching, she told me one of the reasons is that it takes her to places on Vancouver Island that she would never have known about otherwise. It's kind of like her own personal tour guide to incredible places.
If you're not familiar with geocaching, it's using your GPS to find treasures, little containers that people have hidden. They're all over the world, and you sign a little logbook that's inside and you kind of record that you found it. It's kind of like being on a little bit of a treasure hunt.
And really, who doesn't love the idea of being outdoors and looking for treasure? But that's only the very first of the adventures we'll discover that people enjoy in the winter months here. So next, let's head from the trails of the forest down to a snowy, cold, and icy river and meet a couple more of my friends. I want to introduce you now to Graham and Nick. I've known these two guys since they've been in middle school, and they've always had a big heart for adventure and discovering the beauty of the world around them. And they're just a little bit crazy too. In this case, crazy means getting on wetsuits and jumping off cliffs into the icy waters below for some midwinter, good old-fashioned fun. Well, fun at least for them.
It's kind of like a free bungee jump, a little bit not as high. I mean, I've jumped some pretty high ones, but pretty much it's like the first step to like bungee jumping or skydiving. It's just a thrill-seeking kind of thing.
Yeah, we got inspired to do some cliff jumping. It was back in 2018. We saw a video, and there's just a couple guys going for a little cliff jump in the snow, and we thought we'd try that for ourselves.
We just have to get in on that action.
Yeah.
It's like one of the frontier sports you just don't see people doing on the island. in
Yeah.
the general area.
Yeah, it's just a great shock to the body when you jump in the cold, freezing water. And-
It's good for getting over your fear of height and the fear of just being cold and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Surprisingly bearable when you're floating on the surface.
Yeah, but the fingers are dead.
Yeah.
Can't feel those right now. But great taps. Now it's your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
So these guys now think that I should be jumping in with them.
Well, he's seen us doing it, so we survived, so he should definitely try.
I mean, it is winter adventures. It is trying new stuff. Let's see if I can find a wetsuit. Let's do this.
Get it done.
Let's get her done. Okay, I've got the wetsuit on. I am freezing cold, but that's the name of the game. And I'm about to do this crazy thing with these guys. They had inflatables that were fun and colorful. I got nothing but camouflage sleeves. So we're gonna see how this works. It's gonna be fun, and this is what it's about, exploring Vancouver Island. Let's go and explore a cold river on Vancouver Island. Here we go. So good, you guys. I did it. Down the river, in the cold. It was an icy good time, but this is what it's all about. Vancouver Island Explored, Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, well, it was for you actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the freezer. I'll pull it out this summer, and we'll reminisce while it melts in the sun.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love it.
All right, off to the next adventure. So we've spent some time geocaching in the forest. We've spent some time cliff jumping at the river. Now we're hitting the mountains. We're going for a hike. It's a long hike, but it's a hike that my friend Chris does every single weekend here on the island, whether it's spring, whether it's summer, whether it's fall, or whether it's now wintertime. There's not a lot of snow this week. Some weeks there is, but he's there every single week, nonstop, doesn't matter. Now I'm told last week there was a lot of snow up top. This week, we're not sure what we're gonna find, but we're in for the adventure. So we're gonna head up. It's probably about a 90-minute trek up to the top, 700 meters of elevation gain. So this is a grind, but I'm in for it because I wanna find out what he does to experience adventure on Vancouver Island each and every week.
So here's where we parked across from Cameron Lake, and then we followed the logging road up to here. This is where the sign is that we're looking at. And then that's pretty easy going. Then we're gonna do this part up to the bridge, and then we're gonna do all these switchbacks, which is quite steep until we get up and to a fork. And then we're gonna branch off and we're gonna go up to this lookout here. And so that's gonna be about 700 meters of elevation gain. And I think it's a 10K loop to the lookout and back. And up to here, that's where we're gonna go.
CPR Trail was constructed in 1912 as part of the recreational development of a tourist stop on the train route from East Vancouver Island to the city of Port Alberni towards the west coast. The Canadian Pacific Railway, as part of its tradition of Canadian grand hotels like the Banff Springs and the Empress in Victoria, constructed a Cameron Lake chalet between 1910 and 1911. It was both a train station and a resort to encourage tourist travel here on the island. Okay, so we are about two-thirds, Chris? Yep. We're about two-thirds of the way up. It has been a grind, but we're getting there. So far, we're surviving and we're thriving, I think. let's keep going. So we finally made it to our goal. This is called the Lookout on the CPR Arrowsmith Trail. If we could see down the mountain in front of us, we would be able to see Cameron Lake. Behind us, Mount Coakley, Mount Arrowsmith. But right now there's just this foggy mist that's so appropriate for the winter months here on Vancouver Island. It's kind of packed in. There's no snow this week. For being 4 degrees Celsius, it is just this calm, no wind day up here. At the end of January, Vancouver Island's Winter Wonderland. This is another adventure, just another way to enjoy the island during the winter months.
Hiking in the winter is unique. With the snow, there's a lot less people on the trails, a lot quieter, a lot more peaceful. Typically snow in December through February. Normally I'll bring crampons to where about halfway up it'll start to get snowy, and so I'll throw the crampons on, and usually for going down it gets a little slick and annoying if you have to pick your way down, so I'll put some crampons on. It's not very cold, so I can typically get away with pants and a shirt, and so it's nice in the winter when it's not as warm. I know in August it was, especially with the fires, it was smoky and would get up to 30 degrees. Right now it's 4 degrees, so it's not freezing. And other than in this spot right here, the trees shelter you from the wind, so it doesn't get very windy. And you'll get some nice ice formations. There's a particular spot that has some really nice thick icicles that form. In the spring, you get the nice sound of the water droplets. That's a mossy rock wall, kind of mesmerizing. And that's what makes it nice to hike all year round, is the different weather you get in the winter and the snow that you get in the winter, and different formations, and a different technical challenge when you're hiking on the snow as to when it's dry and good grip in the summer. So that's what I like about coming year round.
So we've just met 4 different people with very diverse ways of experiencing the winter months here on Vancouver Island. From being in the forests, to down in the snowy, icy river areas, to up in the mountains. There are so many different ways to experience and explore Vancouver Island. And we're just getting started. Here's a sneak peek at what's coming up next.
My name is Leisha, and I've gone swimming every day in the river or ocean or lake for 522 days. Just the group is all about just linking up other cold water swimmers, creating little groups, little chat groups so they can meet up and go for swims, have fun, be safe, and just enjoy.
Don't you ever stop.